Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mark and Rob's Sports Showdown and Caitlyn Clark's crossover. We have three great guests tonight. One just arrived, Rosalina Lee, if I pronounced your name right, hopefully.
Yeah, you're good.
I did? Okay. And of course, we have Adrian Ross, and we have, hopefully, AK Nation or AC Nation. His kids are sick, but he's trying to make it tonight. So he'll be here in a minute. Rosalina, welcome. The first guest here today, and welcome for doing this for the first time.
I am.
And so do you have a sports or basketball background?
Yeah, so I played pretty much everything under the sun just growing up, but then I stopped in the college era of things. But, I never stopped watching, as sports is kind of my where physicality and strategy meet, and that's exactly my personality. I'm very into physical health, and the stats are always really fun, and when you see somebody do amazing things, that's just kind of like my cup of tea, I guess.
Your cup of tea. So did you play basketball?
I did, yeah.
In high school, or what level?
Up to high school. Nothing spectacular, but I mean, I still do play. Really, I haven't in over a year, but I will go just to the court down the street every once in a while, shoot some hoops. But I haven't played a pickup game, and I don't know, I can't even remember.
I'm just curious if you play basketball. So I only played in an 8th grade team, but Rob, who's not here tonight, but he'll be here Thursday, my co-host, he played high school, college basketball, and then coached 13 years for boys and girls basketball. Actually won several championships as a coach. Adrian Ross will be here any second, and she has coached also. I think she coached girls, but I don't know the number of years, but she talks about it on her videos. And
I think she's a high school coach.
She was a high school coach. I think it was girls high school.
Yeah.
So, and then I think that it's an exact name. I always call him AK, but it's AK.
Is it AK? I always
he says it's his name, AK. I always call him AKs.
I've seen him in my comments. People refer to him sometimes, but I had no idea either. I thought it was AK.
Right. So I think he played basketball, but I don't think he ever coached it. And Adrian, he should be here, but he's got his kids are sick. He said he's got 2 little girls.
Yeah, well wishes.
Hi, Adrian. How are you? Let me get. Oops, I gotta do something. Let me see how that works. No, that's not right. Let's just see how's that. That's no good. I gotta get rid of the banner. What's going on? Why is it doing that to me? Oh, that's still wrong. Why is that different than it normally was last week? No, that didn't work. Don't know why it's doing that to me. I don't want to be like that. I want us to all be the same. So it should be like this.
We're all equal here.
No, I know. I don't know how to take off the banner and then see what happens. I have this is the banner for the show. I don't really need that. I'll hide it and then see if that solves the problem. That solves the problem. I guess I can't have that on there. Okay. All right. So we hope that. How are you, Adrian? Oh, your mic not on.
How are you both doing?
We're doing well, thanks.
Good.
Hey, so good to meet you.
You
virtually.
Too. Yeah,
right. Got some girl power. Girl power.
I'm not using any mic right now because I haven't used StreamYard. I thought I'd just wing it, but is the sound audio okay?
Yeah, the audio's fine. Yeah, we can hear you. First time we've had girl power. We've had two women on our show.
To talk about women's basketball. Yay.
I was just telling her.
All are welcome.
Yeah. So Adrian, she played high school basketball but never coached it. That's her basketball background.
Yeah, that's my basketball background.
And he said he should be coming to join us, but it's not 100%. So let me play our. Adrian, how many years did you coach? Was it girls high school basketball? How many years did you coach?
I coached 6 years.
6 years, and you played up to the high school or college level when you as a player?
High school.
High school. Okay. All right. So I wasn't going to do the show today because I'm so nauseous from all this Juju stuff, but I'll cover that at the end of the show. I got nauseous watching the semifinals with the announcer just drooling over her and watching her get foul calls when there wasn't fouls. But anyways, I have a bunch of questions, and we'll see how many we get to. At the end of it, I'm going to ask you if you could name your All-American team. So you want to think about that. Yeah, I'm going to put up the Wooden top 15 so you can look at the names, and anyone that's in the top 15 on there is going to be in your top 5. So in case you forget anybody. And then like who you think's going to win. But I won't ask you to break it all down because next week we'll do the like final 4, final 2, and final 1 when they have the brackets out. Kind of silly to do with brackets. But like your early pick to pick who's going to win. We'll do that later at the end. So right now, I got to go to my questions here. I don't even have that lined up. I thought
I'm just getting back to watching women's college basketball, so I'll do what I can.
Right.
I have some predictions, but you know, but this year it's almost like anyone's game.
Right. In our show on Thursday, people said they wanted diverse opinions, and I had a friend of a friend, or a brother of a friend, come on, and it was a little out of control. I didn't know he was going to be that bad. I probably should have turned his mic off, but it seemed really rude for me to do that. I would never do that to you guys. But he's not coming back. But I wouldn't mind having Simply Ball Drop. And I think if he would come on, Rudy went on his show last week. I wouldn't mind having him on. I think I would be able to control him a little bit better. So I apologize if you didn't like that show. It won't happen again. And that's not how our normal show is if that was the first time tuning in. So here's my first question. So just everybody, welcome Rosaline Lee and Adrienne Ross, our returning champion. And here's my first question for you. By the end of the season, Fever fans all seem to love Kelsey Mitchell. They even seem to forget she doesn't pass as much as she should, nor is she as good a defender as she should be given her speed and quickness. Do you think Coach White will have much luck correcting these shortcomings?
You want me to tackle that first?
Yeah, go first and say it from a coach's perspective and as well as a personal perspective if you want. You know,
for sure. I think that this team, well, I'll start with what Kelsey Mitchell said early in the season when she said this team is still searching for an identity. And Kelsey, of course, is a scorer, right? So that's her mentality. She wants to score the basketball. And yeah, a lot of the people watching said, why is she such a ball hog early on? I do believe that Stephanie White will do a better job of making sure, first of all, they let Kelsey Mitchell know that she's appreciated and that they want her there. I think some of that was in the mix. Yeah, I think a lot of that was in the mix as well. But I do anticipate that this coaching staff will make sure everyone knows exactly what the role is and how they should be playing. They will have more time, I believe, to work together on how this thing should look. And I am hopeful that they will make some corrections if corrections need to be made, and that she will have a level of respect for this coaching staff that she did not have, as well as developing a relationship. They have developed a relationship, she and Caitlyn as well, which I think will help. And I think what they're going to have to do with Kelsey, because we saw some improvements, but whenever they were down, she resorted to that hero ball and tried to do too much. Right. And so I think that's going to be tweaked. I'm hopeful of that.
Okay. Rosalina?
Well, okay. So Kelsey Mitchell, one, she's a star. She's awesome. Mm-hmm. I think that in this past season, she has been used to being this amazing star on a team that's not winning. So I think that she was resorting to this like ISO hero ball because there wasn't a lot of people scoring around her, and she was the top scorer of the team. But I think that she had to kind of get broken of that habit per se. And you could tell as the season went on, she got better at like cutting back door, even at her assists got better. Having Caitlyn Clark just feeding her the ball constantly did not, hurt. She had to like learn to play off ball a little more, or not off ball, like less like hero ISO ball. And I think that this like Indiana Fever, like front office is no joke. And they are like, this is what we want. This is how it's going to be. And I think that everyone has like bought into this like winning championship mentality. And I think everyone on the team is buying what they're selling. And I think what they're selling is, a very good product. And, Sid Colson, I'm sure you guys know, she talked about role players. So that just kind of gives you an idea of like what the front office is kind of like instilling in these players right now, like understanding roles. Kelsey Mitchell comes home and she's like welcomed by everybody in the Indiana Fever organization. And she's, because she is a star, because she is so fast. Like I don't know, like if there's anybody faster than her in the league, maybe Kennedy Carter, but that's a whole other issue. But like, Kelsey Mitchell,
that's another story.
I know, it's one of the saddest things because she has so much going on that like you just wish wasn't happening, right? Because her talent is there.
I'll say this about Kennedy Carter. I don't think she should be maybe out of the league. I just wouldn't want her on my team. If someone else wants to put her on a team, that's fine. I don't
think anybody wants her on the team. That's the problem. You gotta like.
I'm not sure anybody wants her on the other team either. Ask Marina Mabry.
Exactly.
In her nose.
Yeah,
I love Kennedy. I when I saw her play for the first time, there were no off-court issues because this was the beginning of last season, and I saw her at Barclays and I was like, who is that? And then I realized it was Kennedy Carter, and she was coming off the bench, and every time she came back in, I was just like mesmerized. Her game was so good. She was so compelling. And then everything else happened.
She's an exciting player, but her 3-point shot isn't that good. So I think
it's not, but it's getting better.
Yeah, she'd be even a better player because then they have to respect the 3-point shot, and she'd blow by him even more. But that's just me. I just wouldn't want her on my team. There's no excuse she has a whole track record. She even got suspended over in Europe. So the year before she was done that. But my feeling, I don't like people who don't play defense. Because I think it's usually a person with a big ego and who's selfish. And now Rob has a small ego. He's my co-host, and that was his specialty, was defense. And I think that's because people see offense as glory. So that's why I think it's selfish, and they have a big ego because that's what they're worried about, the glory. But you have to do that. You have to do that in basketball. Everybody has to do it. And I don't think she does it. I don't know how she played in college. I don't know how she played the year before. I never saw her play. All I know is she doesn't play the type of defense that someone who's, like you said, the quickest person in the league, other than maybe Kennedy Carter. She could play great defense. There's nothing about her other than her height, and then she can always cover the shorter person because Caitlyn Clark is 6 foot. That prevents her from playing great defense. It's a question of effort and technique. And I don't think she's ever done that. And same thing with her passing. I'm sure she's such a great athlete. She could be a great passer, but she was stuck on a team that wasn't very good, played hero ball. But that's still not an excuse for passing, doing the one-on-one thing so often and not, passing it better than she does. So I feel that will be corrected by the coach. 100%, no. 8 years after 8 years in the league, I don't think it's going to be corrected 100%, but I think it's going to be significantly better this year. And I'd be very surprised if it's not. And I'd be happy about that because their defense, as we know, was 11th in the league last year. And I think that's going to be a question that I might have asked later. I wasn't sure I'm going to have time for it. But I think they're going to have a good defensive team. Do you think, Adrian, do you think they have enough defense for a championship?
I think so. I think that it's about mentality, and it's about buying into the importance of defense for this team. I think with Stephanie White, she will impress upon them that you want to play offense, you want to run, then you're going to have to play good defense, and then that defense will will end up being offense on their part. So if she can create that culture and where you take pride in your defense, yeah, I think the ability is there. I know that there are some people who would say, "Oh, if they're not doing it now, if she's not doing it now," I'm not of that mind. There are some people, like, how much I respect Cynthia Cooper, and she would be the first to say, as much as she was an amazing offensive player, she'd be the first to say, "Well, I wasn't, that keen on defense." And some people who have had to carry such a weight on offense, it's sort of like, conserve your energy or whatever. But I think that defense will be a staple in this team. It'll be a focus in this team. And especially with the players around them, the players who are added, like your Sydney Colson in the video where she was talking about role playing. She understands the importance of defense. She takes pride in defense. Some people say nobody likes defense. I love to play defense. I'm like, I get big eyes. I get to steal. I get to run. I mean, give me, I just took pride in that. And I believe that they're going to set that standard.
What about you, Rosalina? What do you think?
I mean, I think that, I don't think that their defense was able to be even exhibited as to what they were able to do with people like Lexi Hull. Like, I don't know if you've been following Unrivaled at all, but Lexi Hull in Unrivaled, she's not putting up the buckets that she can put up, but she's a pest. And she's only getting better. It's kind of crazy. And I saw the defense in her last season too. She has a crazy motor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when you add, I do want to see their chemistry, because on paper this team is awesome. Like, it is so great. Can they get to the championship? I think that they could. I think they definitely have a hurdle of the Lynx is a hurdle for sure. I think that New York is a very big team, and those are the two that I think that they'd have to prove themselves better than. And I think that it's definitely possibly there. Like, DeWanna Bonner's tall. She is a perimeter shooter too. She can get through the paint. Natasha Howard, she was all defensive team multiple years in a row. So I think that Natasha Howard was actually a great signing for them, because that's kind of like they needed that bigger person to push through and be able to get through, a Jonquel Jones or an Alana Smith. And I think that they could definitely get there.
Yeah, I think they have enough defense for a championship, because their offense is probably going to be number one in the league. So they don't have to have the number one defense in the league. And I think it's easily going to be in the top half of the league. So it's my guess.
I mean, their offense is so good that their defense doesn't need to be as good for them to even get there. Their offense is it's scary. It's scary.
Yeah, but just imagine with the Caitlyn Clark and how she can push the ball, and how they're we want to catch Caitlyn's passes. Imagine if that defense is upped. I mean, it is absolutely It's scary, the amount of points that they would be able, if they can get out and run, and you don't have to grind it out in the half court. That's going to be so much fun to watch.
I can't tell you how psyched I am. I'm counting down the days. So myself, I think they're going to win the championship, and I'm not concerned with all the new pieces they have, because I saw how easily Caitlyn Clark is to play with in the All-Star game. It was an All-Star game, but you saw how easy it was with good players to play, because she is such high IQ and the greatest passer in the history of women's basketball, and probably better at making women and better at making a player better in women's basketball history also than anyone else. So I think that's going to be an easy transition. Now it's a question of, do they gel? I think they will. And I think that's what I said last week. I think they're going to be in the finals against the Lynx, who I think they're going to beat New York in the semifinals, and they're going to play some other team in the semifinals. And I think they're going to win. So that's my prediction. It's the next question. So I have Rosalina, why don't you answer this one first? This next question is probably the hardest question you have to answer, but probably the most fun. Everyone assume everyone involved has a long, healthy WNBA career for at least 15 years. 20 years from now, when we look back at Caitlyn Clark's career, who will we say was Caitlyn's biggest rival? Asia Wilson, Nafisa Collier, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers, or Juju Watkins? Please give me your first choice and your runner-up.
In 15 years?
What? In 15, 20 years. 20 years from now, when we
Juju
look back at
Watkins.
Clark's career, who will we say was her biggest rival throughout her career? The biggest rival, yeah.
Juju Watkins. Just with the conversation that's starting now, I think it's only going to snowball into something. And, Juju's really good. I think that their games are very different. I tend to think that, Caitlyn does things that I've never seen before. So I'll put her in that category of I've never seen this. And Juju does things at a level that are wow, you do them so well. But I think that this is women's basketball is only growing. It's only there's more money getting put into it. There's more eyeballs getting put into it. And because of that, it's going to get better. It's anything in marketing, when you put more money into it, when you have more training, you have better facilities, then the players get better. So I think that right now, Asia might be one of the rivals that will come up for this season. But I think that in the future, it's going to be a Juju Caitlyn.
Who's your second choice?
So we had Asia, Angel, I'm sure you said, right?
Nafisa
And
Collier,
who else?
Paige
Nafisa
Beckers,
Collier.
and Angel Reese.
Oh, and Paige. Paige is, man, that's a hard one because Paige too. Because Paige is a guard. They're probably going to try to make her a point guard too. Man, maybe Paige.
Okay. All right. Adrian? Tough question.
Yeah, it is. And like
it is a tough question.
It's a tough question. And Caitlyn's only had 1 year in the league. And so sometimes with questions like these, I'm, I don't know. But
just throw it out.
I guess maybe Juju Watkins. I'm planning to do a video on that. There are things about Juju's game that make me wonder if she will have a successful WNBA career. But that's a whole different story. So I don't know, maybe Juju. It's hard for me to go. It's like my mind goes guard to guard, right? So it's hard for me to kind of think about Asia Wilson, or Nafisa Collier. I think I would put Nafisa over Asia Wilson. I'm going to go with Juju. I don't know if I would stick with those choices you have. It's just a wide open space that it is too soon, as far as I can see.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like as far as like rivalries go, like I'm taking into account like not only like their game, but like the whole ecosystem behind like the media and the marketing and who's being pushed, and that because I come from a lot of that background too, and you know, like just the thing that happened yesterday, that wasn't even a thing, you know,
right.
The points thing. It's like, what?
I think there's some more to it than has been mentioned yet, is how successful that person is. If they're not a top 5 player at some point, at their peak at least, that's not much of a rivalry because Caitlin Clark is going to be at the very top, I believe. So, but I think Juju will be. I'm not sure Paige will be. Nafisa Collier would be my second choice, and Juju would be my first choice for those reasons. I think Nafisa Collier is just hitting the middle of her peak, and she's going to be a little bit better than Asia Wilson the next couple of years, like because she's a little younger, and I think she's going to have a nice rivalry with her. And I'm not sure. Angel Reese, I wouldn't even consider until I saw the improvement that I saw with her layups and stuff like that. And now I think she can be good enough, but not maybe an MVP, but like a first team all pro.
Well, here's my thought about Angel Reese, and that is that I said last year that I would give Angel 5 years in the league. So there's that. Not sure she's hungry enough to stay. Now, of course, we're seeing some things different in Unrivaled, but we have to understand this is Unrivaled. It's not 5-on-5 basketball. There's a lot more room, and it's a whole different. It's the same game. It's the same sport, but a different game, right? So we got to kind of see what Angel looks like. But if Angel wants to commit herself to getting better, then the media certainly is going to loves that rivalry. But at this point, I'm not so sure we're going to see Angel in the league in 15 or 20 years.
Okay. All right. Let's see what I got here next. Notre Dame's basketball player, Hannah Hidalgo, faced controversy after allegedly sharing a video on social media in mid-2024 in which political commentator Candace Owens labeled same-sex marriage as a sin. This action drew criticism from various quarters, including the LGBTQ+, and there's probably a few other letters I'm missing after that, advocates and media outlets. Hidalgo has not publicly addressed or clarified her stance on the matter. Does this hurt her chances this year in the Player of the Year voting is my first question. And then I have some questions about the WNBA.
You said she has not clarified her stance?
That's what I understand it.
Well, what is there to clarify?
Well, whether or not she was actually saying that same-sex marriage is a sin.
Why is that? I mean,
it's not important to me. It's not important to me.
I'm just saying it's in the Bible. She only spoke what the Bible says, and she doesn't have to apologize for her faith.
I didn't say she did.
No, I know. I'm just prefacing my comments, so you know where I stand on that.
Right.
Will it hurt her? It probably in the same way that it's hurting her right now, because I think that's a part of why she doesn't get the attention that she should be getting. It is, particularly with this in women's basketball, it's an activist kind of thing. So, yeah, I do think that will probably be something that will stick with her, and hopefully she stands for what she believes in.
Rosalina?
I don't. Can we? Who votes on National Player of the Year? Do you guys know?
Chosen AP writers. There's 67 of them. They're chosen by the league, and they just choose 7. People that follow the league are given spots. That's how they do it. Yeah,
because I mean, she definitely got backlash. I like to keep this about basketball. I don't even. For me, like if she puts that on her social media, that's what she feels and that's what she believes. And like, as long as you don't treat another human being like badly, like we are all entitled to believe and have whatever faith we want to have. I don't see this as necessarily prohibiting her from getting the National Player of the Year award. I have seen her play get a lot worse in the time when it's the most important to step up. Because she was killing it all season, and all of a sudden, like now it's March, and now Notre Dame is just like, they're not doing the same thing that they were doing all season, and that's what I think would hurt her chances. I don't necessarily think that it's that post that she hasn't clarified. I mean, we still have other contentious players in the league, like Sedona Prince, I guess, who has a lot of controversy around her. That person, I think, would have a harder time getting into the WNBA than Hannah Hidalgo.
I want to clarify that I don't think that if she doesn't win, that it's necessarily for that reason, taking into consideration all the other things. Yeah. But I just even looking at comments, you can tell that people have a certain bias, and they called it stupid. That I would say it's in the Bible, and that mindset does exist out there, as opposed to just like the ridiculous comment in the comment section.
Oh, it definitely does. I mean, people are gonna, whenever you have like beliefs of faith, or you have beliefs of like extreme left wokeism, like there's going to be people that are always going to have their extreme opinions, correct? Right. Or whatever. So that's just something we can't get away from. I'm sure you guys know in comments, like no matter what you say, you always get a little a taste of the other side.
And the thing about these, when you get into these issues, I don't shy away from these issues, but the thing about it is that it's the people. This is why I say this, like just glance through the comments. They think they're right and you're wrong. And so you're stupid and they know what's up. And so you stand for what you believe in and let the chips fall where they may.
Right.
It's simple.
I like to keep it about basketball though. For me, like I don't, the politicization of basketball has, I don't know, it's made me like a little sad, but but I really, as much as I possibly can, I try to stay away from all of that.
Well, I have a second channel. I mean, I rebranded this, like I do A to Z. But you can't ask people to deny who they are, and that's why the conversation came up with Breonna Turner for the Fever, because as I've said, people would say, oh, she has a right to feel the way she feels and say what she says. But then does someone else have the same right to stand for what they believe in if it counters what she believes in? And that's the problem. Let's make this thing across the board, and it's not. So,
Well,
so
I'm hoping that Sophie Cunningham and Sid Colson can come together and bring world peace.
And they played together before,
so, right? I answered your question a little bit wrong because I was thinking WNBA. The WNBA has 67 people that vote for the award, but they're chosen just like they are for the AP award for the women's basketball. But apparently there's 6 awards for Player of the Year, and one was the athletic, which actually is is the smallest one and least prestigious one. So people are excited about it. It's not even the most prestigious. There's actually 5 of them. There's Wade that started in 1978. There's a Naismith that started in 1983. There's the AP started in 95. There's the U.S. Basketball Writers Association started in 88. And the Wooden Award And men started a long time ago, but for women, it didn't start till 2004. So there's different, and each organization has different ways to how they choose their voters. It's a committee. And so what I was trying to figure out, and I'm going to have to write to them because ChatGPT wouldn't give me the answers, when they closed their voting, was it after the end of the regular season or after the conference finals? I know it's before the NCAA tournament. So the voting's already done. How they do in the NCAA tournament is irrelevant to player of the year. I know that.
Wait, really? No way.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Really?
It's a regular season, basically a regular season award, just like MVPs. MVPs are the same way. MVPs are voted on at the end of the regular season. Then there's an MVP for the playoffs or the finals. That's how it works.
Interesting. Because I'm sitting here thinking, wow, she needs to step it up a little.
Yeah, it's too late
to get that award.
I had her in first place until the very end, and then I think Juju has a slight edge. That's just me. So I didn't lose my sleep over the fact that it wasn't unanimous or not.
Yeah,
Even
those two.
I thought the right person won. If the wrong person won, then I would have been upset about it. But anyway,
did you see the game yesterday? Lauren Betts was pretty good.
No. We'll get the first team All-American at the end there. I have just a little bit more on that. Do you think that's going to hurt her chances of acceptance in the WNBA? And will she get the Caitlyn Clark treatment when she drives to the basket in the WNBA? Because of her stance, and then this, knowing the women, how the women are.
I mean, Adrian, you can go first.
You're talking about Hannah?
Talking about Hannah Dogger, do you think she's going to get some of that Caitlyn Clark treatment because of this stance that she has? I mean, it's a predominantly black lesbian league. They don't care that she's Puerto Rican or white or whatever. She has this anti-gay marriage, belief, and she.
Well, she has a pro-traditional marriage belief. I would say that there are people who've played in the league who have said that it can be an issue if you don't go along with this like you said, predominantly, I mean, it and I don't think Hannah's out there trying to hate on people, right?
No, I don't think so. I think she's never even commented on that.
She shared what she believes, like everyone else does. So, I mean, nobody's out there trying to hate on anybody. Are they trying to hate on her? Might be it's a good question. If you listen to what other people say, they say it can be a bit of a problem in this league.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a problem. That's why I asked the question. I think she's going to get a little of that driving to the basket thing. She's going to get hit. And she likes
kind of tough. She seems kind of tough though.
I know, but she's 5'6". So
yeah, well, so
we'll see. I mean, it's a little different when someone's 6'9". But anyways, next question is both Princess Caitlyn Natalie Esquire and Queen Caitlyn Cheryl Swoops have both stated publicly that they do not have a vote for the end of the year WNBA awards. But even if it's true, it potentially could happen given their positions and background. Keeping those possibilities in mind, should the voting in the WNBA be transparent like the NBA has been since 2014?
Yes.
Go ahead and expound on that if you'd like.
I mean, I think that the one person that didn't vote for Caitlyn as Rookie of the Year last year, it seemed a bit like spiteful. And I think if they were held to be accountable for their vote, you can vote any way you want. And you know what? If you don't think that she was, Rookie of the Year, then that's your belief. That's your faith. But like, the accountability is important in things like this, in my opinion.
Adrian?
I agree. She said it. Absolutely. Stop playing games, because that was a big old big old bowl of spite right there, obviously. So yeah, I think people should have to put their face where their vote is. Yeah,
I have a lot to say.
Can I ask a question at the end of this?
Sure, you can ask it right now. Is it related to the question related to this or something else?
No, this is something I thought of about like 10 minutes ago, and I wanted to ask, but I didn't want to interrupt. But do you guys think that Caitlyn Clark will break the all-time record for most points scored in a game, which I think is 52 or 54? It's in the 50s, and it was set by Asia and Liz Cambage. They both are tied.
I think she's capable of it, but I think because she's going to attract free agents, the best free agents for the rest of her career, she's not going to have to score nearly as much as she did in college. She might eventually have a year like that, but I don't know if she will. I don't think she'll shoot for it. She might, but I don't think so.
Do you have
What do you think?
have a thought, Adrian?
Yeah, you said about 52 or 54 in a game.
I think it's either one. Don't quote me, but it's definitely 50 something.
I think it could happen. I don't think it would be a goal of hers because she's always thinking to get other people involved, and she makes so many people better. And like you said, she'll like her scoring may go down this season, upcoming season. But I also think there could be a situation where it's just like feed the hot hand. Like she gets hot. And she just goes off, like the All-Star game where she was like, I'm going to back up because Arike Agumbawale is doing her thing. Don't even put me back in, coach, right? And there may be a time when it's just like, just get Caitlyn the ball. Like she's just having a game. She's absolutely capable of doing that. And I hope I am dialed in to see that one. But yeah, it can be done.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because I have another question that's going to be asked probably later on. But Michael Thompson, he played for the Lakers. He said two good things about Caitlyn Clark, and one of them was recent, where he said she might average 30 or 35 points. And I just don't see it for the reasons I just gave. But she's capable of doing that anytime she wants to, once she gets her shooting percentage up, which will happen with the better coach and a better team and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of
sorry, go on.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The reason I was asking is because I thought of this myself, and I was thinking, I wonder because now that she has people around her that are experienced veterans that are able to catch those like lobs she passes and, are going to get open because she's still going to get doubled a little bit. So her teammates are going to get open more. Her teammates are going to be able to like catch her assists more. Is her scoring going to go down or is it going to go up? But I think like Adrian, like what you said, she's going to have a hot hand and like she's going to have a hot game here and there. And I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think about when you actually think of the game and who's around her,
Yeah.
I think it's going to go up because I think she's going to shoot about the same number of shots. She shot 14.5 and 14.76, including the playoffs. That's how many shots she took. And I think she's just going to shoot a hgoing to average more points. And I think she's going to get more calls too. Pardon me? What was that, Angel?
I think it's going to go up too because the first part of last season, she was like on a crazy schedule, like 11 games in 3 weeks. She was gassed by June. And then when she got that month off, she came back a whole new person.
True.
So, her shots were a lot. When I saw her, she scored one bucket, one 3-pointer. I was in a crowd full of Liberty fans going for Caitlyn Clark and Barclays is no joke. They like stand for the Liberty. And I went home crying a little bit, but,
You said something, I didn't hear what you said. Did you?
Oh no, I was just kind of like
agreeing,
giving my amen. Yeah.
So
amen.
Sidetracked to the question about the voting. I have a pretty strong opinion about this because I looked up research on other leagues, and most of them it's not transparent. And if you know anything about the history of baseball, they've had like when they first voted for the first Hall of Fame voters in baseball, it wasn't unanimous for Babe Ruth, which was silly because he was the best player of all time at that point. By a large margin too, him and Ty Cobb, and neither one was unanimous. If I was head of the committee and picking people to vote, and someone voted for Angel Reese for Rookie of the Year, that would be the last time they would ever vote for the rest of their lives in anything because that wasn't an honest.
That's true.
Vote. If it was close, if it was voting was 3-2-1 or something like that, and you gave Angel Reese 2, or you gave someone else 2 and gave her 3 or something, where it wasn't close. But honestly, if I was voting for Rookie of the Year and they gave me a 3-2-1 vote, I thought every vote should have gone to Caitlyn Clark and every second vote should have gone to Angel Reese. And then third, I think, is a lot fuzzier. But it has to be transparent for that reason. And it's even more important in the WNBA than any other league because there's more agendas going on with the WNBA right now than any other league in the country.
Yeah, I think just because the NBA does it, I feel like, as a parallel, I like the idea of accountability in this instance, but I do see how scary that would be if your career were on the line and you voted a certain way, like, maybe you get a lot, but at the same time,
don't take the vote. Just say, I don't want to be a voter.
Yeah,
because in the NBA, they're doing it. No one's gotten attacked. No one's died. No one's got, I don't know if anyone got death threats, but but the
NBA didn't have Caitlyn Clark either.
I grew up with watching Michael Jordan, and he should have got
everyone loved him
MVP several times, and he didn't. And I think it's silly. The people who didn't vote for him on certain years just should have had their vote taken away.
And we know what the deal was with Caitlyn Clark. It wasn't even close. I
Right.
mean, I know
That's my
early
point.
on people were trying to pretend it was close, but there came a point where, and I think for a while they were trying to do the co-rookie thing. You heard some people talking
Oh,
about
I heard
that.
that.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, that's they can no longer say that that Angel, because at first you got people saying, oh, it's going to be Angel. I think Juju Watkins said that. It should be Angel. Cheryl Swoops. It should be
Dawn
Angel.
Staley.
Dawn Staley. It should be Angel.
I was so surprised by that one.
Yeah, and then it came a
wasn't.
point where it was sort of like, we can't just say Angel now. So now we're trying with the co-rookie thing. And then after a while, it was like, we can't do that, And so it was a joke. And I think it was so disrespectful to the process. Like, be a professional about the matter. If you can't, then don't vote. Abstain. They do it in Congress all the time. Vote present and leave it alone, right?
Right. Now, we're on the topic of how good Caitlyn Clark was playing. Now, I said on the show last Thursday, I guess, I was asking people how good they thought Caitlyn Clark was, and we'll ask you today, Rosalie Lee. And my feeling is that she's not the best player in the league yet, and she's probably around fourth where she came in the MVP voting, because the defense of her ability compared to the three players I would put ahead of them, they're all great defensive and offensive players. They're all top 5 offensive and defensive players. Brianna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, and Asia Wilson. Brianna Stewart's not quite as high as those in my mind as those two. So
Not anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, she looked really bad in the one-on-one contest, but she played pretty well in the finals. She had 7 steals one game. But Adrian said she thought that Caitlyn played better than anyone else after the Olympic break. I took that as saying you thought she was the best player in the league, but you're saying that's not what you meant by that.
Yeah, that right. So when I watched your Thursday episode and you mentioned that, and I'm like, when did I call her the best player in the league? I don't recall saying that. And the reason why I had that reaction is because I've thought about that question many times. I'm not yet ready to call her the best player in the league. The most impactful player in the league, the player who's done things that we have not seen other people do, other women players do. Yeah, but I'm not quite sure I'm ready to crown her.
It's AK. Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
The best player in the league. But I would say I think the most impactful. All right,
I don't see you. Oh, you're down below.
I mean, she's definitely the most impactful. She's like,
there you are.
Like, she doesn't move the needle. She is the needle. That is, I mean, I totally believe that.
There he is.
But yeah, I think.
I don't know. Anyways, given that she's a rookie, and it's not like having a down year or not a down year, given that she was a rookie, I took that as saying that she's the best player in the league if she played best after the Olympic break. She's only going up. So
yeah. Well, after the Olympic break, I think a lot of people would have said she played best after the Olympic break. I mean, she was just in another level. But again, the whole package, I'm not ready to say the best player in the league. The one who makes, I think she makes other people better than anyone else. And I do believe she's obviously the most impactful player. And I believe she has the biggest upside as any other player, but I'm not ready to say totally the best player in the league yet.
Okay. What's up, AK? How are your daughters? You said you were sick? You okay? You're not gonna get sick out of
my daughter, she's still, we had a stomach virus going through the house.
All right.
So,
sorry,
just getting over it. How's everybody? How you ladies doing?
Doing well.
Good.
Hope you're doing well.
Is it AK or is it AC? We were wondering that.
He calls me. He gonna call me AK regardless of what I tell him.
Right.
I keep going back and forth. Yeah. Okay. The Fever now have 5 of the top 28 scorers in the WNBA last year. Lots of firepower off the bench, so they will obviously be a high-scoring team. But are you concerned there's not enough shots and not enough playing time to go around for the whole team? Go ahead, AK. AK.
I think for people that want Caitlyn Clark to average 25 points a game, I don't think there's enough shots for that. But I think that it's enough for them to still be, a fun team to watch. Now, my only question is, can they average 100 points a game? If they do that, then there's room for, Caitlyn Clark to, go crazy some nights and whatnot. I'm just when I look at the team, I say like Kelsey Mitchell, they never figured that dynamic out last year.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, and that's something you gotta figure that out, because Kelsey, she's got one track mind, man. She just doesn't have any skill but scoring. That's it's like she has she's one dimensional player.
Now, but she's capable of.
Well, I mean, listen, she's a midget. She's a one-dimensional player. She's very good too. She's exceptional at that one thing, but she is only one-dimensional player, and her mindset is not geared to change. Like it seems like she's going to clash with Stephanie White this year. This one thing about this. How about this?
We talked about this earlier.
Great year for content creators, because we're going to have a drama-filled year. Everybody thinks all these veterans are going to be settle the team down. No, all these veterans are going to bring a ton of drama and a ton of storylines and a ton of subplots and a ton of issues. And we are going to have a great year content creator. Everybody's going to make $100,000 during the season on YouTube.
Can I say something about Kelsey Mitchell really quick though?
Say anything about it.
Yeah, so she's a scorer. She is definitely that, and and when she's hot, like she's so hot. But and because I remember watching her hero ball, her isoing and dribbling everywhere, and being like, cut back door, like just cut back door, and then she started cutting back door.
Big time.
And I think that a lot of it was a lot of coaching, and I think that because she has been in the league for a minute, there might be a little like not resistance, but like I think she's just gonna have to like ease into things a little more. But I don't know, like the way that she runs, like you can't teach that, and she might be one dimensional, but man, she can like put it up.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian.
Well, we talked about that in the beginning about
the shots and playing time. You talked. I know you did a video
I was
on one of those.
Okay,
I know you did a video on one of those or both of those, but you can talk about a little bit. Anyways.
Yeah, I have talked about that. I think the hardest job in this upcoming season will not be Caitlin's job, Kelsey's job, Aaliyah's job. It's going to be the coach's job, because it's you're dealing with players. Like Ox said, you're dealing with players who are used to certain something. That's why I appreciate that I've heard them say time and time again that they have made it clear what the expectations are. They've made it clear Caitlin's the floor general. They've made it clear the big three, and everyone else is to complement that. Now, saying that and then being able to live that out. Listen, I've added people to my team that said, okay, coach, no, I just want to be on the varsity team. I don't mind if I don't get a lot of minutes. And then you get in the middle of the season and all Hades breaks out, because it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to live it out, right? So then I stopped taking people who weren't going to get significant minutes because it was just a headache. So I'm hopeful that the coaching staff will be able to manage minutes and manage egos. So the biggest job in coaching is not the X's and O's. It's the other stuff that comes with it. And I hope that they will be able to keep that together and manage those, and that everyone will buy in. And I'm hopeful of that.
I think it's clear. I think it's clear. They've told them, this is what you got to expect, and I think.
And they said yes. They said yes.
Not a major problem for that reason.
I think though, you got to understand this though. This is the most scrutinized team. Everything is going to be scrutinized. Like everybody talks about Lexi Hall, and like she's all right. She's not really that good. But Lexi Hall is an Indiana Fever. So her being on the Indiana Fever makes her, now she's on stage at Luke Bryan concerts and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Now she's like all over the place.
That's the Caitlyn Clark effect.
These people are now. What's her name? Dewana Bonner. She's a 15-point game scorer. Dewana Bonner scores 4 points 3 games in a row. Gets 8 minutes one game, 12 minutes another game. Then,
well, that's not going to happen if she's starting.
Hey, on this team, it might happen, depending on how the flow of the game's going. Depending on how the flow of the game's going,
I don't see that low.
It could happen. She is not going to be happy. Okay? And listen, and it's not because she's a bad person, it's because she's Dewana Bonner. She thinks she should be scoring. She scored 16 points rolling out of bed.
She's talking. She's ready for this. She's ready to just win.
Okay.
That's the way she's talking.
Okay.
I'm not saying it can't be a small problem. It won't be a big problem.
But here's the thing, Rob. It's not gonna just be scoring 16
Rob,
points.
I'm Mark. Rob and I look a little different.
You guys look so much the same, but
yeah, we're twins, but we're 16 months apart.
But look, it's just it's not gonna happen in anonymity. She's gonna be getting destroyed on Twitter. She's horrible. I thought she was better than this. She's gonna be getting talked about on First Take. What's wrong with Dewana Bonner?
They're not talking
Monica
about
McNutt and Elle Duncan, who people who never talked about her before, never mentioned her name before. Drea Carter. What's the other one? The other squad member.
Janae Ogumake.
And the squad. They're gonna be talking about people that haven't been used to this type of attention before. You know what I'm saying? And scrutiny. And I'm telling you, it's one thing to go 4 games in a row scoring 3 or 4 points in anonymity. It's another thing to do it on the biggest stage while everybody else is flourishing. While Caitlyn's dropped 25 and this one's dropped this and that one's dropped that. And you got 4 points a game and you're like just a cheerleader. You're relegated to a cheerleader.
Okay, so this is one quick answer. If you had to vote for Player of the Year, who would you vote for?
Are we talking about W or NCAA?
NCAA Player of the Year. Who would you vote for if you had to vote?
Tania Latson.
Okay, Adrian.
I don't know. I got to pass.
Okay. Rosalina?
It would have been Hannah, but lately.
Yeah, Hannah's. That's a really hard one.
Okay, I'm voting.
I would have gone Hannah. I would have. But now, Juju or Lauren Betts.
All right. So just so you don't forget anybody, this is the Wooden top 15 national ballot, which this year they did an excellent job. Pardon me?
Or Tania Latson. She's doing so good.
Just so you know, when Caitlyn Clark was a freshman, even though she was one of the easily top 5 players in the country, maybe the best player in the country, for some strange reason, she didn't make this top 15, and nobody can tell us why. But it was weird because she made first team All-American with the U.S. Basketball Writers Association, second team on the AP, which is weird. But anyways, this is good. It's a good list. But anyways,
this is a good list.
They did a really nice job. You could only, 1 or 2 people you think could replace 1 or 2 other people. Other than that, that was my list basically. Tell me your first team All-American. Go ahead.
I'm going to say Tania Latson. I'm going to say Juju Watkins. Then I'm going to go Lauren Betts. Even though, listen, the reason I'm saying Lauren Betts
give us the 5. We don't got a lot of time.
Okay. All right. Lauren Betts. And then I'm going to go Tania Latson. I'll go.
Not going to put Hannah Hidalgo in there yet?
Yeah, Hidalgo, definitely. Okay. That's the other one, Hidalgo. And then we need a forward, or you can just put any 5.
Any 5 you want.
Oh, any 5. From what I've seen, I'll put what's the girl from LSU, Anissa Morrow, in there.
Okay. All right. Adrian?
Yeah, like I said, I haven't been as dialed in, and so what I would do is I would just be picking the people I'm most familiar with, which is not fair to the people I'm not.
That's fine. So, you want to pass. Rosalie? Rosalie Lee? Have you been following enough women's basketball?
His first few were good. Tanaya, definitely Lauren Betts, definitely Juju Watkins, definitely Hannah Hidalgo. Actually, I don't. Hannah's scaring me a little bit lately. Man, Anissa's getting really good with those rebounds. I do love Flage, but
no Sarah Strong.
And yeah, Sarah Strong. I remember thinking like I wanted to put her in there. Sarah Strong.
Okay.
Sarah Strong is people gonna say that Paige, she's not the best player on her team, but when I watch UConn play, man, Sarah Strong, she controls everything. Like she's the gravity on that team.
It's close.
High IQ.
My five are Hannah, Juju, Lauren Betts, Tanaya Lotson, and Paige Beckers. And I think Sarah Strong would probably be my first person off the bench.
Yeah. I think she's gonna be a player of the year before her career is over.
Yeah, she'll win player of the year.
I just realized recently that Sarah Strong was her. She's the daughter of a woman I watched back in the day in the WNBA.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
I forgot her name all of a sudden.
Yeah, her mom played with Dawn Staley.
Her mom played with Dawn Staley. Yeah. It's interesting to me, if I may just insert this, because I do have to go in a few minutes, but it's just interesting to me because not everybody said right out of the gate, oh, Paige Beckers, and yet people continue to just make it to sound as if she's a definite number one pick.
She's still the number one pick.
I don't get it though.
It's not the basketball. It's everything else. But I do think she's a good player. I don't.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just the fact to me it's like the Asia Wilson effect. Like she's definitely number one. Like you don't even have to earn it. Everybody decided that even though she's not playing like she used to play before injuries, it's just Paige Beckers because. And we could get into some of the because. We can
if you want. That was a question I was going to ask you this week or next about Paige. There is things going on there with the coach. There's pressure about winning a championship before she leaves Connecticut. The first great player out of Connecticut, really.
Well, he changed that recently when she wasn't playing. When they weren't playing as well. He then has said recently that you don't necessarily have to win a championship.
I know, he changed.
It's kind of like selective criteria.
He wasn't saying that last year when they were saying great Caitlyn Clark couldn't be a GOAT. He wasn't saying that last year. He didn't stick up for Caitlyn, and that was happening.
The goalpost.
Yeah, but here's my thing though about Paige. When Paige, you kind of have to draft her one just because of what Caitlyn did to the Fever fan base, the fans, the draw. I think Paige won't have that same effect. Of course not, nowhere near that. But I think she will sell seats. And I think for that reason, you draft her number one if you have the number one pick.
Kicking and screaming.
She's not the best player. She's not the consensus number one overall pick. She's not the most talented player, number one.
And she doesn't
got a bunch of injuries. She's coming in hobbled. Like if she tears her ACL as a pro, she's literally done.
I think Paige is great, but Olivia Miles is scaring me too.
Pardon me?
I don't know what happened. Like Olivia Miles is not playing well, like at all right now. She can pass really well, but she's not really like hitting her shots. She's
what's going on with her?
I don't know. Like this is like freak. This is kind of like it's like she had a good like section of when she played really well, and now she's just they went to Miami. All of a sudden, none of them are playing well. I'm like, what is going on?
Which is so odd because you want your team to be playing the best basketball at this point when they've lost three of the last 5 after a 19-game winning streak.
Mm-hmm.
So my last thing I want to end with is Juju Watkins, who's the announcers when they announced the game. She can do no wrong. Stephen A. Smith had his stupid take. Why isn't she getting attention? Now, as Adrian said, he didn't say it was because of race, but he implied to the point that it's no doubt he was saying race.
The sister is special.
And I thought it was dishonest because he knows one of the reasons that Caitlyn Clark is so popular is because she's exciting. And people aren't saying that Juju's more exciting than Caitlyn, just better. So that was a very dishonest thing to suggest, knowing that Caitlyn Clark was popular because of her exciting style of play. And it's also dishonest because Juju Watkins is getting more attention than anyone in history at an earlier point in her career. So I just find it nauseating. She's getting the best whistle I've ever seen in my life. Caitlyn Clark got the worst whistle in WNBA, not in college. She got a fair whistle in college. And she drives to the basket. They breathe on her. She trips. She charged twice. She charged in the game and tripped. And she tripped on her own. They called a foul.
You're messing in my next video, I tell you.
And it's driving me crazy because except for the fourth quarter of the finals, she did not get calls in the fourth quarter of the finals against UCLA. But those were clean blocks by Laura Betts. Those were the replay showed they were clean blocks. Mm-hmm. So and then the article came out that here's what drives me crazy. They keep saying there's nothing Caitlyn can do. There's nothing that Juju can't do. They said she can do everything. I mean, I can name 12 things Caitlyn Clark can do that Juju can't do. Yeah, and I can name 12 things that Juju can do that Caitlyn can't do. Why can't they see that? Why can't they criticize her?
Yeah, court vision is there's no comparison.
Why are they afraid to criticize?
That's her magical power is her court vision, her IQ, like magical power. And that's what makes everybody around her better. But she's the head of the snake. She's like the head of the snake everywhere.
All the time, and Juju can't get criticized by the media.
Now, here's the thing. 2-point shots, Juju got her all day from 2-point range. You know what I'm saying? But like they don't even have the same game. Like Caitlyn never shoots twos. Juju, if it's not a layup, but Juju only shoots twos against good competition. But like against like Cal State Fullerton, she'll go 9 for 10 from 3-point range. But against good teams, she's mostly like shooting long twos and getting to the foul line. Their games are nothing alike. I mean, there's no comparison to them between.
So no one knows the answer to my question. Why can't they criticize Juju Watkins like they criticize Caitlyn Clark?
Oh, you know why? You know why? Because she's a sister. Listen, we're coming out of that. Like you got to also understand the whole country's coming out of that. It's the countries in women's basketball is gonna. That's why I say the season's gonna be crazy because women's basketball is always also coming out of that. Like since BLM, even since Trayvon, since 2012, it's built up to 2020 and then it exploded, and now we're on the downside, and people are gonna have to get used to it. The activist league is gonna be the last holdout. Of course, they're gonna be the last holdout. They're gonna think they're special, and that the whole country who's voted against special treatment and treating people like they're a certain group of people like they're above reproach. The activist league is going to be the last holdout. This is going to be the hill that BLM dies on, the WNBA, and it's going to be an exciting season. It's going to be a lot of drama this year surrounding race and.
Well, I know it's because of race. I just want people to say it besides me because I'm white.
Yeah, no, definitely because of race. I mean, listen, this is the women's basketball is very much about race, more so than any other sport. And listen, they're going to be the last. This is going to be Custer's last stand for BLM. Trust me.
This whole conversation reminds me, I share this, and you're not going to maybe see the connection until for a moment. But what he's saying is it reminds me when I was in college and a friend of mine, and we started attending a church, and it was mostly white, this church. And it was an amazing church, spirited, spirit-filled. It was amazing. And a friend of mine came with me, and she absolutely loved it. But she said, you know what, Adrian, I don't know if I can continue to go to this church. It's like, why? And she said, church is the one place as a Black person that I don't have to feel like a minority. And so going there, even though everything else was wonderful, she felt like that this is supposed to be my place in church. I think that corresponds to the WNBA in a certain way, where these women, what problem they have with Caitlyn Clark, basketball is their thing. And that was part of the problem they had with Caitlyn Clark because she was so dominant. And they had a problem with that because this is ours. That's why the golf world, people say, well, why the golf world? Look how they embraced her. They had no problem embracing her. She's not a threat to what's theirs.
I agree. My problem is that some of these are professional broadcasters. The most important job they have, besides being knowledgeable, is to be objective. They're the least objective people when it comes to Caitlyn Clark and Juju Watkins, anything to do with Angel Reese, anything to do with Caitlyn Clark, which is annoying to watch because I'm sitting there saying, well, then your opinion's useless to me. And
well, they're human though, Rob. Mark, they're human. You got to understand.
It's no excuse for being this far off in their objectivity. A little bit off is fine. When I made my predictions this year for Caitlyn Clark, and I'm a big Caitlyn Clark fan, I think she's the most exciting athlete since Michael Jordan. Did I go crazy? No, I said she would not win the MVP. She'd be first team All-American. She'd be 20-10-6. I was almost 100% right. And when I make my predictions now, I'm not saying she's necessarily going to get them, but I'm saying, okay, I'm going to make them now because I can see what I can see. But I'm not saying she's that great now, which is what they're saying about Juju. See, I'm not overrating Caitlyn Clark right now. I'm rating her potential really high. There's a big difference.
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of just like foaming at the mouth for the next big thing, and they're trying to create it as opposed to let it like happen organically. And rivalries sell and they get clicks. And we talk, I'm sure you guys, we talk about it ourselves on our podcasts and stuff because that is what is out in the world that people are talking about. But I think that a lot of it is very like disingenuous. And I personally don't like to pit Juju and Caitlyn together. I think that their games are different, and I think that they're both really good. I think that it's kind of crazy that we have like mainstream media outlets, like I forgot what it was, I posted it to my Twitter talking about like the second most points and whatever, and I'm like, why are they talking about the second most points in the second year of college? I'm like, this is like a mouthful of like creative word salad. Like plus it's Kelsey Mitchell being number one. Like what the heck? So it's just the Caitlyn Juju, like it's like, sorry.
It's like I just feel like too, like there are people who are like, every time you say Juju, you got to say Caitlyn. Every time you say Caitlyn, you have to say, and it's not just people who are anti-Caitlyn. There's some Caitlyn Clark people who are the same way. Like you put up a video and like, oh, I bet Juju couldn't do that. Oh, I bet Angel couldn't do that. And I'm like, man, I never watched basketball so like to the point where it's just like, and even when we talk about the race thing, some of it's on the other side too. Some of it is the other side of Caitlyn is one-upping, and there are some podcasts out there too that have their racial bent as well. It's not just the black folks. I'm just saying, you see some of that out there too. So I'm gonna call it as it is. It's the truth. I won't name them, but
I'm gonna make a prediction, and I just put a video out today. Juju Watson will be overrated, overhyped, and she'll get the best whistle for the rest of her career because she's always going to have some kind of connection with Caitlyn Clark because they're only a couple years apart. That's going to happen her entire career, and it's not going to be her fault. I have nothing against Juju Watkins. I've said so many times she's a nice lady, and she's going to be top 5 probably in college and WNBA history.
It's too soon for that, I think.
Yeah, top 5. Listen.
She has that potential.
Listen.
She's not there yet. And they think
what I've seen from her, like I don't think she's better than Cheryl Swoops. I don't think she's better than.
She's a great player.
I don't think she's better than Jackie Styles. I don't listen.
Who's she? We're talking about
Juju Watkins.
She's better than Jackie Styles.
I'm not seeing anything that's like I've never seen this before.
That's exactly what I said.
Right, and I said that in the video about Stephen A. And I just said before we started this broadcast right here, I just said I'm not even so sure that Juju will be successful in the WNBA, and I do plan to do a video on that. I'm not so sure. She's a great player, but there are aspects of her game that she's relying on that I don't think will work for her in the WNBA. That's
well, she keeps getting the whistle, it will.
She did what? But that whistle stopped blowing in the fourth quarter yesterday.
Once. That's the first time all year that I've seen that she didn't get the whistle was the fourth quarter yesterday.
That's my
point. The replay showed those were clean blocks.
But we live in this league prides itself on physicality, and Juju does some stuff that she shouldn't be doing because she's used to getting bailed out. and going to the line. I'm not so sure that's going to work in a league that prides itself on the physicality so much. I'm not so sure.
That's why I'm convinced she's not going to be as good as Caitlyn, besides the fact that Caitlyn is way better at making her teammates better and always will be. Because I don't think Juju has that in her right now and even close to it.
I think her coach has a lot to do with some of the stuff we're.
Yeah, Lindsay Gottlieb is the perfect coach for Juju, though.
For now,
the coach.
Lindsay Gottlieb
for now.
I don't know about going forward, though.
Yeah,
no, you shouldn't. No, I'm sorry.
Lindsay Gottlieb lets her do what she wants to do.
That's my point. For now.
No,
but
that's
not the case. That's what I'm saying. You're saying exactly what I'm thinking.
She shouldn't be allowing her to play in the fourth quarter when we're up by 50 points. It makes her look bad. Sorry.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I got to run.
I actually got to run too.
Adrian, you want to mention your 2 channels before you go?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you guys so much for the conversation. I am on the Adrian Ross Show. The Adrian Ross Show. Check it out. And also my second channel is Adrian Ross Squared, where I'm squaring off from A to Z. And everything's on the table there. Appreciate
you. We're here next week, but you got to leave at 6:45, right?
It's correct. Yeah. Yes. Okay. I think 6:45. No Finals of the Unrivaled. I think I said. Yeah.
No problem. Okay, thanks. Thanks for showing
up. I have to get going too for probably the same reason. All right, but thanks for having me on. You guys can check me out.
Would you like to be on next Monday again?
I've never seen your channel before. I've never seen her channel. What's your channel?
Rosalina Lee.
Rosalina Lee. Okay. I've never seen you before.
Is next Monday?
Well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I try to check out your videos.
The chat loves you.
Oh, do they really? Oh, yeah, that's cool.
They're saying positive things about you the whole time.
They just saying that because she's hot, man. That's
you
all.
can see the chat. Go back.
I actually haven't even been looking at all. I've literally just.
I don't look at it because I'm busy. I just glance every once in a while. But
thank you,
go back and watch the live thing, and the chat's still there because
Wait,
the
really?
Live, it'll still be there
for
like
hi to the chat.
So what about next Monday? Can we tie you down for next Monday?
Yeah. Let me. Oops. Hang on. Yeah. Let me
and next time tell your people that you're going to be here. Tell your channel you're going to be here.
I'm so sorry about that. I was making a video about college basketball. So yeah, I will definitely do that.
Okay, so we'll see you next Monday at 5:55, 6 o'clock.
All right, thanks.
You did a great job.
Right. Thanks so much. All right, I'll see you guys.
See you later. All right, Ak.
Yeah.
AK, whatever your name is. I have a couple things.
Whatever you're gonna call me, man. You know, you who knows what you're gonna call me, but yeah, man.
I call you brother.
I got a couple minutes, man. The kitties. Whew, I'm telling you that stomach virus went through us like a hot
let me just see some minor questions I didn't get to. You do you want to project Caitlyn Clark's numbers this year?
19. I'll even say 20, 10, and I think the rebounds will probably go down because instead of grabbing those rebounds, she's going to have to let some of the bigs get the rebounds because she's going to have better rebounders down low. Natasha Howard and girls like that are going to grab those rebounds. So I'll say 20, 10, and 4.5.
Okay, I'm going to go 22, 10.5. Because I think she's going to shoot 10 as a goal, so she's going to end up being over 10 somehow.
Okay.
And then rebounds, I think she's going to still be between 5 and 6. I think rebounds is hard to predict because she could get a ton of rebounds in one way if they decide, like, let's say the other team lets them have the ball like they were doing sometimes because they're afraid of them running, and all of a sudden everybody runs but her and Aaliyah Boston, and her and Aaliyah Boston may get a ton of rebounds because they're the two always getting the rebounds on the missed shot, and the other three are always running. So she may get a decent amount of rebounds still, but it's going to be in that 5 to 6 range probably still. But I think she's going to shoot a higher percentage. I think she's going to shoot. Her shooting percentage is going to go by 40%. Like she's going to go to like 380 and a 455 and like 380 for threes. And
who I think is going to do well this year? I think I've been watching Angel. Angel is going to be a problem this year in the WNBA, and she's going to let everybody know about it.
I do think. I mean, Adrian thinks she might only have a 5-year career because she doesn't know if her heart's in it, but I don't think so. I think that
Angel's going to have it. Angel's gonna push Caitlyn in the MVP race this year. I promise you.
Well, I think it's Nafisa Colliers that's going to push her.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Nafisa Collier is on her own plane though, but I think Nafisa and all the typical MVP candidates, but I think Angel is going to. I just feel it. For some reason, I just feel Angel's going to have a insane year this year, and I'm not a big Angel fan as a basketball player. I like her as a as an influencer and all that stuff. But
really,
yeah.
Okay, so I don't like her as a person. I don't like her at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's just you got to be. I'm from DC, so it's like I could understand. She kind of remind me of a chick from like PG County.
There's nothing likable about Angel Reese to my
mind.
Yeah,
she a young chick she like one of my nieces. If you realize how young she is.
No, Rob and I talked about this in our videos. Yeah, I don't like her at all. I'll give her a chance to mature. I know she's young, so I'm not totally analyzing her and totally giving her permanent dislike. I'm saying she just hasn't changed in 2 years, though. She hasn't matured in the last 2 years since.
She's not going to change. She's not going to change some of that stuff ever, though. Some of it may change.
People do mature. Some just take longer than others, and I think she's going to mature late in terms of her narcissism and victimhood.
The narcissism is never going to change. The narcissism is never going to change.
It can get lower. Look at Kyrie Irving. I didn't think he'd ever mature, and he finally did last year.
He's not a chick, though. He's not a chick, though. Angel's a black woman in the hip hop world. She's a black woman. She's friends with a bunch of rappers, Cardi B and Sexy Red. She's obsessed with fashion and makeup and shit. I got a niece. I promise you, I got a niece and several nieces that are just like her. They're the same age. When they were the same age, they act the exact same. They just aren't on that level. They aren't on her. They don't have Angel Reese's platform. Mm-hmm. They act the same way.
In terms of the concern for Aaliyah Boston, I want to clarify something. I don't think the concern. I'm not as concerned as other people are, because what I think will happen is what I just described, is that the other three people will run and her and Caitlyn will get the rebounds. And so she wouldn't have to run as much because she's not as fast. Now, if she's at the top of the key when the shot takes place, that's a different story. She's going to have to run.
Aaliyah Boston's going to take a step back this year.
I don't know. What about Bonner and Dasha Howard's influence?
Aaliyah Boston is going to average 12. Aaliyah Boston will average 12, 6. I don't know how many assists, but 12 points and 6 rebounds. Aaliyah Boston is going to have a turbulent season. She might be in and out of the starting lineup. And listen, you know how hard it's going to be for Stephanie White to come to Aaliyah and say, "Hey, we want you to come off the bench this game."
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But
that's why it's going to be hard, because you can't even imagine her asking that. But she's slow. Her game is half court. If she
loses weight and comes in shape, it won't be a problem.
If she loses weight and comes in shape, yeah. And if you listen, you muted, Mark. Mark, you muted.
I'm muted?
Yeah, you were muted. Go ahead.
You can't hear me?
No, I can hear you.
Wow. My mic says it's on. It's okay.
Go ahead now. Go ahead. You were talking. I couldn't hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. I was talking about Boston. You finished your point or not?
Go ahead. Okay.
I think that her numbers may go down. That doesn't mean she's going to take a step backwards. I think her game is actually going to improve because of the veterans and the coach. And she will shoot at a higher percentage than she did last year. She shot 58% her rookie year. And I think she'll shoot at a higher percentage, but she won't get as many touches as she did in the paint. And I think she'll play better. She'll play better defense. She'll be toughen up. I don't think she's a perfect fit for the Fever, but I think they can mask that because they got a lot of other people that can run and she can get the rebound along with Caitlyn Clark, and the other 3 people can run.
Okay. So you think Aaliyah Boston, with the way DeWanna Bonner runs and the way Natasha Howard runs, and during the course of a game, because you got to remember, these is game by game. Like, say that they're going to go on runs when Aaliyah's not in the game. Press 1, chat, tell me this. If the Fever play the way Stephanie White's talking about playing, the Fever are going to go on runs when Aaliyah Boston is not in the game.
When they're playing against a team without a good center, that'll happen. But when they're playing against a team with a good center, then they may have a little trouble with the centers, right? Or power. Let's say they have a team with a good front line, then running's not going to be as effective because they're not going to be able to. They're going to have mismatches there. But they have. You're right. They have they could have a team that total runners, and they could go on a run against certain teams at certain times. No question about it.
When Aaliyah goes out of the game and they go on a run, Stephanie White, if she's a good coach, she's going to notice that. She's going to say, damn, every time Aaliyah sits down, man, we go on a run. And every time I bring her back in, we cool off.
We'll see.
I'm telling you, man. And you said if she loses 20 pounds, my God, that's a lot of weight, man.
Weight and getting I didn't say anyway. I didn't say number
of
pounds.
Smoking crack? The only way she's gonna lose 20 pounds is if she starts smoking crack, Mark.
I didn't say a number of pounds. Are you talking about the people in the thread? I just said if she loses weight and gets in shape and shows up in camp shape. I think it's important for do that.
The only way Aaliyah Boston is gonna lose 20 pounds is if she gets stranded in the ocean on a raft somewhere, or she starts smoking crack.
Did you see the interview with Bonner when she talked about Aaliyah Boston, and she talked about Aaliyah Boston, but asking her what her goals are and what she wants to do and whether she's willing to work for it. I think that she's going to have an influence on her, and Aaliyah Boston's going to mature and play better in terms of that nature of her game. At the same time, I don't think she's a perfect fit for the team, but not everybody's going to be perfect fit. I don't think Dantas.
Somebody say the only way she's going to lose weight is if the Waffle House closes down. Hey, man, that's crazy, man. I didn't say that, Leah. If Aaliyah was watching, man, I didn't say that. I did not say that, Aaliyah. But yeah, man, come on, man. Nah, man, Aaliyah Boston ain't losing no damn 20 pounds. And listen, here's another thing. Even if she loses 20 pounds, she doesn't have that skill set. Her skill set is the post. Even if Aaliyah loses 20 pounds, Mark, it's not going to teach her how to dribble. Mark, it's not going to teach her how to dribble. It's not going to teach her how to handle basketball. Losing 20 pounds doesn't mean you learn how to handle the basketball in transition and catch.
Well, here, in terms of her handling the basketball, what she's got to do is take hand grips and squeeze them all day long. That's what she has to do. Her hands are weak. The ball keeps getting knocked out of her hands.
Jesus
She's weak in that way. Huh? What's
Jesus
that?
Jesus Christ.
No, she does. She has to take those hand grips. Her hands are weak. She always ball gets knocked out of her hands. That shows me she's got weak hands. Rob said the same thing. Or you can squeeze tennis balls. You just have to strengthen your hand strength. That's what you have to do. I don't know how many pounds. She has to work. Someone else said she has to not lose weight, work on her conditioning. She has to do both. She has to lose weight and work on her conditioning. I don't think that her conditioning is up to snuff, judging from what I saw in the Unrivaled League. That's all I'm saying.
All right, man.
There's no excuse.
She's taking a step back. I don't know what we're going to do with Lexi Hall, because Lexi Hall's going to fight for minutes with MAGA Barbie. And listen, go ahead.
They're going to have some blowouts. So the bench is going to get some minutes, right? There's no way that team's not going to blow people out at times. So the bench, so all of a sudden, players 6 through 10 are going to get a decent amount of playing time when they have blowouts. I don't think the 11th and 12th player is going to get much playing time, but because they're so deep. But I think the bench will get playing time because they're going to have blowouts. Now, if they're not as good as I think they're going to be, that's a different story. So we'll see. What's so funny?
Well, we'll see, man. We'll see, man. We'll see. But yeah, this is gonna be a very interesting season, man. I'm gonna I can't wait, man, because it's gonna be a lot of storylines, man. A lot of stuff to talk about, man. Every game is gonna be important. Every game will be scrutinized.
Yeah. So how many wins do you think the Fever will get this year? They play 44 games, remember, now instead of 40.
30. I think they can win 30. I think they can win 30. I think they should win more games than not. So I think they can win 30. I don't think any more than 30. I'll put them right at 30. So that's 2 out of every 3 games.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I think they could win about 70% of their games.
That's 30.
No, that'd be more. So
no. That's 30, Mark.
We got 44 games. 30
games.
No, that's gonna be. Let me just see. Like 7%. That
So
doesn't seem
32.
I don't think
35 games. Nah, no way. They're getting everybody's best shot every night. Every night they're getting everybody's best shot, and they're gonna deal with more controversy. They're gonna have so many. They're gonna have to deal with so much more than basketball. They're gonna have to deal with so much off the court, so much crap. It's gonna be exhausting for them, man.
I'm gonna go 70. I'm gonna go 32 wins. That gives them 72%, 72.7%.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going with. I think they're gonna get at least 32 wins. I think they're gonna be a dominant team. I think they're probably gonna have the best record in the league. They may start out a little slow. That's not gonna surprise anybody, but once they get rolling, that's going to be a train. It's going to be a choo-choo train coming down the tracks. And I can see them winning at least 32 games. I'd be disappointed if they lose 30 games. That seems too low.
That's a lot of games, though. You got the WNBA. That's a lot of games. 14
against the team that talented. I think people are underestimating Caitlyn Clark's ability to make their teammates better and ability for them to run an offense that nobody can deal with. That's a lot of wins. So that's my personal opinion. Okay, so let us know. There's 273 people in the chat. I'd like to know how many wins you think the Fever is going to get, if you don't mind answering. But I think at least 32. 35 wouldn't shock me.
Why not just say 44-0, man? They're going to go 44-0.
No, 30's too low. It's just too low. I might even go more. Let me think about it more. I could see him 34-10. 75. Give me 75%. There you go. 44 times 0.75. Yeah. 33 wins. Mark. 33 wins is 75%.
Mark,
3 out of 4 games.
You know you want to do it, Mark. Go ahead and say 44-0, man. You really
I'm going to say
do
33-11. 33-11. Because that's 75%.
Mark. Go ahead, Mark. 44-0, man. Come on, Mark. You. I can just feel it, man.
Oh, they may do that someday. They may do that someday when they get even a better team. I don't think their team's that stacked. When Nafisa Collier says, I want to play with Caitlyn, she's the best player in the league, and I know I can get an easy championship, and she joins her, yeah, 44-0 is impossible. 44, Lisa G says 44. I'm saying 33-11. 30's too low. I see at least 33 wins in them. That's 75%. I think that's fair in it. How can they not win 3 games out of 4?
Aquarius 6'8"
averages 18, 14 assists, 7 rebounds, and top 3 finish in the standings. She's the MVP.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I think
14 assists, a lot of assists if she does that. She could average 15 assists one season. I don't think it's going to be this year.
If she repeats last year, she's the MVP because they're going to be.
I do think she could. I don't think she needs to average a lot of points to get MVP because she's going to have a ton of assists.
That's definitely going to get her the MVP. Those stats right there will definitely get her the MVP without a doubt.
Yeah. So we got No one thinks that you're the lowest person of everybody on this thread, AK.
I know, because I'm telling you, they're going to implode, and she's going to have to. Stephanie White is going to have to.
John says 30, but everybody else says more.
Stephanie White's going to have to
Medium
keep
says
this
30.
team together, man.
A lot of people say 35, which is more than I'm predicting, but I say 75% is a nice guideline. That's 33-11. So I got 75-0 from Bobby O, but he's always wrong about everything. So that's not. I'm tripping. Nuke Rockney says I'm tripping when other people are predicting way more than I am. So they're tripping even more, I guess. Let's see what else. Got a lot of 35s out there. No one predicting less than 30. Like it's from what I see.
Yo, do you understand if they lose 2 games in a row, that third game is going to be like a pressure? What's wrong? It's going to be what's wrong with the Indiana Fever? What's wrong? And then if they lose that third game, if they lose 3 games in a row, it's not going to be like last year, where they're young and da this, or she's tired. None of them excuses going to work this year.
Okay,
it's going to be like, yo, what the hell is wrong?
Didn't they get everybody's best game last year because of Caitlyn Clark? Nothing's changing from this year.
No, but what I'm saying, Mark, they're going to get everybody's best game this year. But Mark, what I'm saying,
they got it last year. They still won 20 games with the lousy coach and the shitty team.
Right. But Mark, what I'm saying is last year you could beat up on Christy Sides. This year, Stephanie White, you said you went out and got Stephanie White. Okay, you went out and got this player, you went out and got that player, you went out and got these players. And those players are gonna, don't get me wrong, they're gonna get criticized, but it's gonna be listen, it's gonna be a crazy year. And I don't think you can go 35-9 in that much craziness. I think they can win the championship. Yeah, I think they can win the whole thing in the playoffs because it's not single, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is the regular season is going to be a grind. It's going to be a grind.
I'm sticking with 33-11. That's 75%. It's a nice round percentage number.
That's
3 games out of 4.
Okay.
I think I have confidence in Caitlyn Clark. And I mean, if she gets injured, obviously this is all off the table. But if she's healthy the whole year and their team is basically healthy, they're going to win 33 games. I think they're going to start out a little slow just because they have to gel. But
hey Mark, I gotta run, man.
Okay,
kitties, man. Salute, man.
Salute. All right. We'll talk to you. See you Thursday.
Okay. All right. Take it easy.
At DePope. So just so you know, Rob will be here Thursday. And so will DePope. And so will what's your name again? Act Nation.
The black, you're gonna have all blacks, man.
Token white guy. White guy man. Thursday.
You'll be uncomfortable, man. I'll see you later, man. Take it easy.
You're gonna be brother this and brother that. All right. Okay. Hey, okay. So what did you guys think? Yeah, good. Sorry about the sirens. Auntie Anna. Buenos noches. Good job, Mark. Thank you. Aaliyah Boston looks like she's not been practicing. We'll see. Let's see what's going on. All right, you got. Why don't you guys give me some questions? I have a bunch of questions I'm going to ask the panel, but I'd rather hear from you guys. I have like 60 questions written for the panel saved, but I'd rather hear questions. Why don't you guys ask some questions and then I'll answer, and then the people in the thread can answer too. Call Mike about the Big Ten tourney. Yeah, and Mike is the least objective person I've talked to about women's basketball so far. Oh no, I had another guy. Thank you, Charlie. Nice job, Mark. Thanks. Great panel. I had another guy told me that Caitlyn Clark's upper limit in the WNBA is top 10, which means she'd never make it past second team all pro. she said, so basically she would never be a top 5 player in the league, and she's already 4 right now. So anyway, it's on tape. The game's on tape. How about CC's new guns? Oh yeah, I asked Rob if he wanted to do a video about it, and he said no. But yeah, her arms look good. She's working out, and she can only get so much stronger, and it's going to throw off her shot. So they're coming for you, Mark. Who's coming for me? Anyways, let's see. What question? You got any questions here? What's your final 4 for the women's NCAA tournament? So, Vonda Phillips, we decided we were going to do that after we see the brackets, because that could make a difference on who you pick for the final 4. I'm picking South Carolina right now to win. You missed it, my All-American team. I'll pull it up now. I'll pull it up. I'm having trouble with my second team. Let me pull this up. I'm having trouble with my second team. My first team I've got. My second team I keep changing every second. All right, so this is the Wooden top 15, which I said earlier I thought they did an outstanding job on it. And they kind of made up. They don't make up for what they do to Caitlyn Clark her freshman year, where they didn't even put on the final 15. But that's the final 15. So my 5 is Juju Watkins, Hannah Hidalgo, Tanaya Lotson, Lauren Betts, and Paige Beckers. That's my first team All-American. You can make an argument for Sarah Strong. You can make an argument for Anissa Morrow to be on the first team. I don't think Olivia Miles has played that great lately, but those two should obviously be on the second team. Madison Booker should be on the second team, and maybe Flajay Johnson. And then I have trouble after that because I think Haley Van Lith played well this year for second team, but so did Olivia Miles. So that's where I get stuck on the finishing out the second team. So let us know. Let me know down below who your first and second team on, if you want. Just in case you might forget somebody, there's 15 of the top players in the country. I thought they did an outstanding job this year for the top 15 in the Wooden Award. Rob likes Audie Crooks. I think she'll make third team All-American. And I think Sedona Prince will be third team All-American, and I think Azai James will be third team All-American. And then it gets a little fuzzier between Haley Van Lith and Georgia Morrow will be third team. And then I get stuck between Haley Van Lith and the final spot, her and Olivia Miles and stuff like that for the final spot in the second team. And Flajay should be second team. She's injured right now, though. What about Lucy? I don't know. You could argue her for third team. She won't make first or second team. You got to take someone off then, because there's 15 right there. So you have to say she's better than one of those 15 if you want to put Lucy on there. Who do you think is the weakest of those 15? That's what you have to take off and put Lucy on, because that's a good list. I'm not saying it's the perfect 15. I don't think I watched enough women's basketball to know the perfect 15. But you got to take somebody off if you want to put Lucy on. That's all I'm saying. Will the Fever draft Lucy Olson? Yes. If she's available, they'll draft her. And I don't know if they'll draft Sedona Prince. I don't think Sedona Prince is now, this is her second accusation of domestic abuse. The first one, is one. It's not proven. She wasn't arrested. But the second one, that shows you she's got some issues. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So I don't know if I'd want to draft Sedona Prince. She'd have to be a super talent for me to do that, to make up for that. Audie's a sophomore. Can you pick her up and get rid of Boston? First team, Juju, Paige, Hannah, Tanaya, and Sarah Strong over Lauren Betts. Yeah. Second team, who cares? I care about second team. So, I don't know. Lauren Betts, she finally woke up. We'll see. I still take Lauren Betts over Sarah Strong. At the end of the NCAA tournament, I may feel differently. If Sarah Strong plays great for like 6 games in a row, if she gets, they play 6 games. But right now, I'm not putting her on there. But the voting's already done. The voting is before the NCAA tournament, and I think all these awards. Well, they may take Lucy. They could do some guard help. They got to take somebody. Yeah. Audie Crooks, you want to see what she's done the last 6 games? Wow, she had great stats. Rob thinks she's good. A fantasy league? That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. If you want to run it through me and do the work, I'll do it. But that's a lot of work, fantasy league. And I never played fantasy before. So I'd have to learn about fantasy and stuff like that. I think Rob plays fantasy football. Yeah. TAAJO, I'm going back to 733. It says the NCAA is doing Juju a disservice knowing she has an obvious flaw in her game. She doesn't pass the ball. She has an expectation of being bailed out. It's the Reese effect again. Yeah, she has a very much one-on-one game, and she doesn't make her teammates better. So I don't know what to say. That's going to limit her. We'll see. How many times might DeWanna Bonner assault an opponent? I don't know. I think DeWanna Bonner will have Caitlyn Clark's back. I think that one. Yeah. All I know is Juju has the best whistle since at least James Harden from 6 years ago. But I think she has a better whistle than James Harden. Although James Harden got away with, she initiated the contact and he kept getting those calls. They don't give it to him anymore. So, all right. Why is he a hater? Who's a hater? Retro said someone's a hater. I'm just looking at the thread here. 38 easy. 38 wins? Whoa. We'll see. I'm going 33. Audie is the next Charles Barkley. So we got, there's some dispute about Audie. We're going to discuss that Thursday, okay? Because Rob likes Audie's game. So, Rob is there Thursday night. So join us Thursday at 5:30, everybody, okay? 5:30 on Thursday. But we'll discuss Audie Crooks on Thursday night. Remind me, in case, because it's not in one of my questions written down right now. So I know she has good touch. She has good balance. She could drop a couple pounds. She got a wide body. She's always going to look bigger than she is. Because she's got a wide bone structure. But she's got a nice touch. She rebounds. She positions herself well. Rob thinks she has good fundamentals. And athletic for her size. So we'll see. Did you guys see the I'm gonna talk about the rankings. Okay? You guys want to talk about the college rankings? Is that cool? Let me see. They came out today at 1 o'clock usually. It's ESPN. I was on ESPN. Why did it take me off it? All right. I'm going to pull these up and let's see. All right, so UCLA is ranked number 1, but ESPN is claiming that South Carolina is going to be number 1 in the overall number 1. So, but in the poll here, UCLA got 16 votes and South Carolina got 9. UConn got 7. I think they get 7 votes. They had one big win against South Carolina. That's it. I think I wrote this down. Hang on a second. I did somewhere. I don't know where I put it. Well, give me a minute, guys. All right. So the argument for UCLA is they had only two losses. Everybody else you can see had 3. So they lost to the number 4 seed. So that was it. Pretty good. But they only have 4 big wins: USC, South Carolina, and Oklahoma twice. Is that Oklahoma? I can't read my own writing. Ohio State twice. I'm sorry. Ohio State twice. So they only had 4 big wins, and they only have 2 losses. South Carolina played a tougher schedule. But they have 3 losses. UConn to UCLA, obviously, decisively, and Texas. But they beat Texas twice. They beat Oklahoma twice. They beat Duke, TCU, LSU, and North Carolina State. So you can make an argument for South Carolina. But where are they getting UConn? UConn lost to Notre Dame, USC, and Tennessee, the 20th seed. And they only have 1 big win against South Carolina. How do they get 7 first-place votes? The media is so biased towards UConn. That's unbelievable. There's no way they should have any first-place votes. Who's with me? How many games will Hall survive a start? Let's see. Is Iowa State on a bubble? I don't know. You go look on ESPN has an article about it. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Any other questions for me? 31 wins. David says 31. But 7 first. I can see why they're third. I just can't see why they have 7 first place votes. How can you pick them over South Carolina or UCLA? They have 1 win. South Carolina. that was against a good team. South Carolina has 8, and UCLA only has 2 losses, and they have 4 big wins. Sorry, that's ridiculous that UConn has any first place votes. You can convince me South Carolina, UCLA about which one should be 1 and 2. That's a debate. UConn's not a debate. Sorry, that's just UConn bias there. USC, Texas, TCU. It looks like there's 10 teams that could win it. I don't think the teams near the bottom have much of a chance, but Notre Dame probably does if they get their act together. North Carolina State and LSU are 9th and 10th. After that, there seems to be a drop. Oklahoma's number 11 with 7 losses. They're not going to win. So anyways, that's my – yeah, it's first place. Forget it. I mean, if you want to say third, if they're a number 1 seed, no problem. There's 4 number 1 seeds. But to say that they should be ranked first in the country ahead of UCLA and South Carolina is bizarre. That explains how Paige Becker got Player of the Year over Caitlyn Clark freshman year. UConn biased by the AP. So, anyways. UConn could win it. I'm not saying they can't win it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying when you rank somebody, you're not ranking on what you think they're going to play in the NCAA tournament. You're ranking them according to what they've accomplished throughout the year. And so we'll see. 2012 and 4. Only 4 rebounds? Huh. We'll see. Paige versus Juju in the finals. Like Juju's going to get the calls more so than Paige, but Juju gets calls. She just gets calls. That's all there is to it. Got the prettiest whistle in the world. I don't know. South Carolina is tough, man. They got so much depth. I don't like Dawn Staley, but in South Carolina did lose 2 games in a short amount of time, but they lost against good teams. So I think you think Gino's going to retire this year? I don't know. Sarah Strong looks like she's going to be a great, great player. You might want to stick around for her 4 years. There's layers to this thing. So we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, those are the I don't have any strong predictions, but I just think South Carolina's depth is threatening. UConn could win it. USC could win it. UCLA could win it. South Carolina. I don't see Texas winning it. But, who knows? If UConn can, if Notre Dame can start playing like they were in the middle of the year and early in the year, they could win it. But top 5, Madison Booker. I don't know. Madison Booker came up small in every big game this year. I can't put her in my top 5. I don't care that she won the SEC Player of the Year. I can't put her. You're going to put her ahead of Tanaya Latson? No, I'm not putting her ahead of Tanaya Latson. Has better numbers than her, and she played pretty well against good teams. Tanaya Latson, unlike Madison Booker, but yeah, it's South Carolina's defense and their depth. They come at you with 9 players at least, sometimes 10. And that's tough. It wears you out. So, and they're going to have Dawn Staley is a smarter coach than the UCLA coach, whatever her name was, Corey Close or whatever it is. Took her 3.5 games to figure out how to guard Juju. Really? 2.5 games? Dawn Staley already knows how to guard her. She already has it figured out. She's not even playing her yet. Yeah. Lauren Betts woke up. She saved her draft pick ranking too, I think. Without that, if she had played poorly again 3 games in a row against UCLA, that would have been good. So let me show you Madison Booker. Let me just see. She played Texas, right? All right. I have to put this on the screen then. All right. Okay. Madison Booker. All right, we'll go with is West Virginia. They were 12th at the time. What did West Virginia end up being seeded? Let me just see what that was. All right. All right, what did they end up being? All right, 16th. All right. Madison Booker, okay, first big game, 5 for 14. She did get 8 rebounds and ended up with 19 points. Only 1 assist, 3 turnovers. That was against number 14 at the time, number 12, West Virginia, who ended up number 16 in the country. This is why I don't like her. She didn't play well in big games. Notre Dame game. See how she did. Madison Booker, 7 for 21. She did go 3 for 7 in threes, 20 points. She did get 8 rebounds, and she had 5 assists and 3 steals. She didn't shoot well, but she had a pretty good game other than her shooting. Let's see. They played another good team. Number 9, Oklahoma. 4 for 8, only scored 8 points against Oklahoma. 2 assists and a turnover. You get the picture so far? She beats up on weaker teams. Box score. There's this South Carolina, Madison Booker, 3 for 19. 7 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 turnovers, assists. She didn't get 7 rebounders. She's a good rebounder for a guard. She shoots at a good percentage, but just not against good teams. She beats up on weak teams. Maryland. She played Maryland, number 8 in the country at the time. She had a great game, 13 for 19. 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 assists, no turnovers. So she had a great game against Maryland. First one. That's the first one against a good team. Let's see how she did against South Carolina again. Box score. Madison Booker, 7 for 22. Did give 11 rebounds, though. 20 points. 4 turnovers, 3 assists. All right, you get the picture. She doesn't shoot well against good teams. Because she shoots at a nice percentage. I think it's 46%. LSU. Madison Booker. I'm not putting her on my first team All-American. Over Tania Lotson? No way. 3 for 17 against LSU. Did get 10 rebounds, though. She shot poorly again, 16 points. And then she played LSU in the tournament. And the box score was, again, she shot well, 10 for 19. She got 25 points, and she had 6 rebounds. 4 turnovers and only 1 assist, though. I know she's not a point guard, but still, it's not good. And the loss of South Carolina in the finals in the tournament. Madison Booker, 4 for 13, but did get 10 rebounds. And she had 2 turnovers and no assists. All right, so that's Madison Booker in big games. 2 out of 10 times she shot well. I don't know. Oh. I don't want to hate on Juju Watkins either. I think she'll adjust her game. Adrian's smart, so her analysis will have some validity to it, but I can't imagine she's not going to be successful in the WNBA. She'll have to adjust. She'll have to develop other things to her game besides driving to the basket and getting a pretty whistle. Okay, so I'll go back and look at some of this. Thanks. Let's see. Notre Dame is likely a Sweet 16 upset alert. We'll see. They might just turn it around when the tournament starts. Maybe they get their mojo back. Let's see. The girl from Vandy, is that the freshman? Yeah, you can convince me she should be on maybe. I'm not saying it was the perfect 15. I just thought they did a good job. Let's see what else is on here. Yeah, Lauren Betts is returning. That's right. But that's right. She's got another year to get her draft pick up. Yeah, there's too much smoke there for me for Sedona Prince. One person, now it's more than one person, and someone that does criminal work. Anytime I have a defendant where there's 2 complainants or more, or 2 witnesses or more, I already know my chances are worse. I already know I have a problem. It's easy to discredit one person. It's not always easy to discredit several people. And so I have a feeling there's something going on there. She's got issues. And so what's going on here? Let's see. Yeah, UConn does get extra votes. Been playing well lately. That's true, but I wouldn't give them any 7th place. I wouldn't give them any 1st place votes. Is my point. I don't have a problem with them being 3rd. I just have a problem with them getting any 1st place votes. But that's just, I can't see how you can rank them higher than South Carolina and UCLA. I looked it up. Their only big win was against South Carolina. Now their 3 losses were against good teams. I'll give them that. So they didn't lose against any weak teams. Let's see. Paige will be like, yes, Paige will be like, I definitely found Juju. Give her shots. Yeah, you got it. She's got to uplift the black woman. That's what she has to do. She said that on her. She wants them to get more attention and more success. Gino will retire after UConn wins it all this year. Well, that's possible. He seems burned out. I haven't watched any Unrivaled either. I've just watched the highlights. Full Wiley passes line. You mean like Chelsea Gray, and shoots like Enrique. She's flashy but lacks substance. She's a sophomore. Let's see what happens. Let's see. UConn won't make the Final Four. Dennis is going anti-UConn. Do you think they will get the special whistle more than Juju? Who's they? UConn? Yeah, UConn gets a good whistle. No one gets a better whistle than Juju. I'm sorry. It's nauseous. UConn has won it already. Is there a men's game going on right now that you're talking about? Okay. All right. I'd rather get rid of this. Just remind you, this is our show. Our next show is today. At 5:30. Juju is going to get the easiest baskets. You meaning she's going to get a nice whistle? What does easiest baskets mean? I don't know what that means. They announced the brackets. Okay, so the brackets are announced Sunday at 8 for the women, and the men, I think it's either at 6 or at 7. So does that answer your question? But what do you mean Juju's going to get easy baskets? Does that mean she's going to get a good whistle? Right. I agree. Juju has flaws, and the public has convinced her that she doesn't have flaws, or I don't. Maybe she in her head she knows she has flaws, but she relies too much on driving to the basket and picking up beat balls. Easy brackets. Oh, sorry. Yep, sorry about that. Okay, Phil. Juju's going to get the easiest bracket, same as last year. Oh. You think they're going to give you you think they gave USC an easy bracket last year? Let me look at that up. Because that's interesting. I didn't even think about that. Do you think they gave USC a favorable bracket last year on purpose? Well, that's an interesting conversation to have. Well, let me pull up the bracket and then pull up last year's rankings. Okay. So USC at the end of the year was ranked 5th last year. So let's see what the bracket was. They gave Iowa a hard bracket, which is weird. Not surprising. They didn't like Caitlyn Clark. Although it worked out because she beat Paige's team and Angels' team, and they got high ratings, and she got to the finals. So it would have been nice if someone else knocked out South Carolina. Let's see, 2024 Women's March Madness bracket. 2024 March Madness bracket. Let me pull up this bracket here for you. All right, that's the bracket from last year. I know it's the biggest I can make it and still get the whole bracket in. Let me look at their bracket. Yeah, I didn't pay attention to as closely as you did, apparently, because I didn't notice that they got an easy bracket. They were number 1 seed? Wait a minute. USC was a number 1 seed last year? That was weird. I don't even know why LSU was a 3 seed. So they played Kansas or Michigan. Those are weak teams. Then they played Baylor. Was in their team. Baylor beat Virginia Tech in a small upset. And UConn was injured, but that was a 3 seed in their bracket. Who was the 2 seed? Ohio State was a 2 seed in their bracket. And that wasn't as good as Stanford or who else? Who was the number 2 seed over here? Notre Dame, Stanford, Notre Dame, and UCLA. So the number 2 seed was Ohio State, who at the end of the year was ranked 16th. So they did have a number 2 seed that was weak in their bracket. I'll take your word for it. I can't get a hold of Fly Hippie. I can't get a hold of him. Yeah, I don't know. They screwed Iowa over. It didn't make any difference. They hit, either someone had to beat South Carolina or they had to do it themselves, no matter what bracket they had. And it didn't look like anyone was capable of beating South Carolina. Most like, could happen on any given day. They had a couple close games, but wait a minute. Let me just see. Anyway, Notre Dame might go home early. Yeah, I don't know. They got 3 good players. That's a nice thing in a tournament. So we'll see. Yeah, Juju's offense is overrated, and you can't even say that without people accusing you of being a Juju hater. But it's so obvious that her offense is not nearly as good as people think it is. And you know, they didn't suddenly get bad, so they must just be in a slump at the same time, Olivia and Hannah. That's my guess. They were playing tough teams earlier in the year, so in the middle of the year, so it wasn't just they were playing better teams. So we'll see what happens. Sometimes that happens. Teams start out hot, they go down, they get hot again. I'm being anti-Semitic. I don't care about people's religion or race. I swear to God, I don't. But they do. It bothers them. She's not in the top 50 in blocks, but she's a guard. But doesn't she average like 2 blocks a game? No, that's good for a guard. So I don't think she's 6'2". I think she's 6'1", but what do I know? I don't know why they list people's heights that are wrong. Just give me the right height. Yeah. Of course, it would be exciting to watch someone better. Like I was hoping. I know some people disagree, especially people who didn't watch Michael Jordan play in his prime. I was hoping that LeBron was going to be better than Michael Jordan, and he wasn't. He was almost as good, because if he's better, he's more exciting, and generally, unless he has a boring game. So I was all for that, but I'm for anybody being better than Michael Jordan if they can be better than Michael Jordan, being exciting, but it's never happened. So it doesn't mean I don't hope for it. And my life's not going to end if Michael Jordan's not the greatest, most exciting athlete ever. I just think he still is right now. Same thing with Caitlyn Clark. My life's not going to end if some woman is better and more exciting there. I'll watch that woman too. Okay, Phil. See you Thursday. Where does Juju rank among guards and blocks? I think that's the question you have to ask. Although she's kind of like no, she's more like a guard than a small forward. She is more like a shooting guard, but Lenny Bias was special. He was. I think he was a little overrated because he died, but he did have pro body and pro athletic ability, so he would have been a big time pro. He wouldn't have been as good as Jordan, but Reggie Lewis was a great defender. It's too bad he had heart trouble, right? He had those long arms, and he was real athletic and big hands. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Reggie Lewis have long arms and big hands? That makes good for good defense. You can really, that's Dejanay Carrington has long arms. If you ever noticed that. And so that makes it easier for her to poke the ball out. Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. I'm going to go to 8:30, guys, and then I'm going to call it a night. All right? So Thursday crossover at 5:30. And we'll do that. You guys enjoyed Rosalana Lee, her first time? She did a good job, right? How many players have the work ethic as CC? Dennis, I will tell you, my suspicion is no one in the women's basketball world works as hard as Caitlyn Clark does on her game. But I can't prove that. I don't follow people around 24/7. I suspect she's put more hours in the gym for her age, per year that she's been on the planet than any other woman basketball player. That's my guess. I could be wrong. She played other sports. She obviously played golf and soccer, but I think she puts the work in as much as anybody, and that's half the reason for her success. And she has good technique. So when you work hard at something and have good technique at the same time, you become good at something. Who's on the panel on Thursday? DePope B. Frank? Probably Rob. No, Rob for sure. And probably Act Nation. Rosalina is prettier than Act Nation. It's close. No, I'm just kidding. It's not even close. I'm just kidding. I was making fun of Act Nation, not Rosalina. Yeah, she's coming back next Monday. Rob is going to be there Thursday with the Pope and hopefully Act Nation if his kid isn't that sick. He's got one of his kids is sick. So, and I'll be hosting again. Rob said he'd rather be the panelist than a host. So I gave him a choice. So, and Adrian Ross and Rosalina Lee will both be back next Monday. And I don't know who the third person is going to be yet. I'm waiting to see if anybody else responds to them. I was reaching out to them. Let me check my X. Let me check my X thing and see if anybody left a message back for me, because I left some messages in people's X, and some people don't check their X messages very much. Let's see. Let's see, Ken Swift X. All right, I don't have any messages from anybody, so I don't know. I'll reach out to Robin Lundberg and see if he wants to do it. He said he wanted to do it again. He just didn't say when. Juju is, yeah, that seemed weird that she wasn't in the top 50 because she averages, I thought she was averaging like 2.1 blocks. What is she among guards? Does it break it down for that? Can you, or you got to Google that? Maybe you can Google it. Because let me look at her stats. 1.9, and she was 1.8 for career. Let me just pull that up for you. Let's see, share screen, Juju, share. I guess I can even make it bigger. And then make it OR. What is this? Oh, yeah. Those are her stats. 25.9 points, 7.9 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 3.7 turnovers, more turnovers than assists. Of course, that only counts when Caitlyn Clark does it. 2.3 steals, which is good. 1.8 blocks. 41.2%, which is not good. 32.4%, not good. And I guess that's defensive rebounds over there, 5.6. So, but Jeb also gets to the free throw line 8.3 times. 8.3. So anyways, let's see. Take this down. All right. All right. Good panel tonight. That was good. So those are Juju's stats. If you wanted to see them, I'll remove that. And any more questions before I go to sign off at 8:30? Tomorrow, Thursday, we'll go from probably 5:30 to 7. The panel is, at least an hour, and then we'll see how long they want to stay. Should we get some odds on whether or not Frank DePope v. Frank shows up on time? So far he's been 50 minutes late and 30 minutes late. You guys got Vegas odds for DePope on Thursday night? $47-0. They're playing 44 games. Oh, they're going to win their 3 exhibition games. Thank you, Charlie. Boxing Bulldogs. Fever's going 47-0. Says New Grockney. You guys agree with that? 47-0. Charlie likes the crossover. Boxing Bulldogs, Charlie. We found out that Rosalina is prettier than AK. Ack will be upset. He's not prettier than everybody else, but what are you going to do? Penny Hardaway would have been could have been one of the all-time greats. Yeah, I think he had a similar game to Michael Jordan, and he was exciting too. And it was a real shame that he got injured. I thought he was going to be a superstar. And then he looked like he was as good as Michael Jordan for the year that Jordan came back. He was coming back, and Penny was just hitting his prime. And then Jordan kind of took over again. And then Penny got injured. But he looked like he was going to be a great, great player. What a shame. Look what happened to Derrick Rose. I don't know if, if he had got injured. He was never the same after that one injury. So that was a shame. Like, what about Grant Hill? He wasn't the same after he started having ankle and knee problems. I think it was ankle problems and knee problems. Grant Hill had a great all-around game. In fact, Grant Hill played better in the NBA than people thought he was going to be. I think he ended up he was better than people thought he was going to be. So, yeah. So I looked at some videos on, what's his name? Something ball dropping or something. Is that his name? And he contradicts himself all the time. So that's good. Let's see if he wants to be on the show. How did Grant make the Hall of Fame? Why wouldn't he make the Hall of Fame? Simply ball dropping. Yeah, he contradicts himself all the time. So he doesn't criticize Caitlyn Clark's ability that much. He says she's a phenomenal player, but he overrates Angel Reese and overrates Angel Reese's importance in terms of making Caitlyn Clark popular, and thought Chrissy Sides was a good coach. I've looked at some of his videos. I want to invite him on the show. But first I want to do some research on him. TAOJ, you don't think Grant Hill should have made the Hall of Fame? Are you serious? Wow, I don't agree with that. His career was long enough to make the Hall of Fame. Juju's 29th in blocks. That's not bad for guard. That's real good. All right, let's see. Grant Hill. All right. 18 years in the league. His first serious injury was halfway through his career when he was 30 years old. In 2023 and 4, he did not play. And he doesn't seem to be the same player after that either. Well, no, he averaged a lot of points in the first year back. And then it was downhill after that. But his rebounds went down. So let's see what his MVP shares are. Look at this. Let's see. All Pro Awards. Let's see. MVP shares. He got third, and the MVP was the highest he ever was. Got 7 All-Star games. All NBA voting shares. He got, let's see, all league. He made first team once and second team 4 times. He got all defensive team a lot. some votes. At his peak, he was averaging 20 points a game and 8 rebounds with 6.7 assists. That's an unbelievable season. That was his third year in the league. That's who was third in the MVP voting. That was his best year in his third year. I don't believe that CeCe's defense is sufficient. I believe that she will have less energy for defense than other players because she's a point guard that plays upbeat ball. So I'm sympathetic to that theory and that situation. However, part of her problem with her defense is her technique, which has little to do with energy. It takes a little bit more energy to bend your knees, but then you can move easier. It takes less energy to move because you're sliding your feet as opposed to crossing your feet, which takes more energy. So, and she also stands in no man's land when her person's wide open for a three, which takes no energy just to be closer to her person. So I do not believe her defense is sufficient. Yeah. She has too many bad habits that she picked up in college that Lisa Bluter never corrected because she was the star player and she was concentrating on her offense. And I do not believe she will be the GOAT if she doesn't improve her defense. At the same time, I've said before, I think Coach White and other players and the player development coach were going to improve her defense this year. And I think you'll see a better defender this year. But she needs to learn to bend her knees because that's the key why her off-ball defense is so bad. She also sometimes loses concentration on a player and turns her head and is too busy trying to get the steal through the middle, and her player gets wide open for circles around. So anyway, I'm tired. I just yawned. So I'm going to sign off and see you guys on Thursday night. Okay, well, I don't agree with that. But I will see you on it. I don't agree with that part, either part of your sentence about Jordan. Jordan was the best defensive player I ever saw. So anyways, I'm going to have you a good night, guys. Take care. Thanks for showing up. We'll see you on Thursday at 5:30. And I'll probably go to 7. And check out the new videos. There's 2 new videos today. And that's about it. All right. Good night, everybody.